how do you race walk? Is this just walking fast, like if I was in a hurry, or is there a whole technique to it?
Oh, there's a whole technique to it. So usually if we're going to teach youth how to, or beginners, we'll say like, just pretend that you're at the pool and they say, the snow cone place just opened up and everybody's jumping out and they're like, don't run, walk, don't run. And you're trying to hurry over to it. So that's how you start, walk as fast as you can to get there. But to not get thrown out of a race, there's two rules. You have to land with a straight leg, and then keep it straight until it passes underneath the hip. And then one foot has to be on the ground at all times. And that's how it differentiates from running, obviously. So
Oh,
it can
right.
get sometimes confused because when you say that, people will start walking like a Frankenstein.
Right. Yeah.
And but that's where I like to just incorporate the dance. If you're thinking of a merengue, you land with the straight leg, drop that hip, let it pass as you're pulling that back, your other leg through, and then you can bend that last one as you're straightening the other one. And then that's how you get that smoother rhythm.
It seems like a sport that would be easy for somebody to cheat.
No. So we have minimum 5 judges on a course at all times. That way that there's always a judge that can see us. And then it has to be so for the 1 foot off the ground, it has to be by the judge's eye. And there's like a fourth of a second that the human eye can't see. So that's the key, is like by the judge's eye, because they're not going to be able to see that seconds. Now, we're not doing that on purpose. That just happens naturally at the speeds that we're going, and it's just going to go up. So the judge has 2 paddles they can give us. The yellow is a warning. That is a courtesy. They don't have to give us that. That's just to let us know we're in danger of getting red carded. And if we don't fix it, they're going to red card us. So those rules make it so it's hard to cheat because there's people watching us all the time. And the last 100 meters, you can get DQ'd whether or not you have previous red cards. So that's why you're not going to see too many of us. Like, this is one of the things I loved doing when I was running competitively, is I love a strong kick. So I still like to do that with race walk, but I have to be really careful because judges don't like it if you significantly change your pace, and they don't like that. So even if you have a lot in the tank physically, you have to sacrifice that, or sacrifice a higher place just to stay in the race. Because it could mean if you sprint at the end, it could mean that that chief judge doesn't like how you look, and they'll just throw you out that last 100 meters.
So if you have people who are the best in the world at this, and they're still getting those red cards, is it the kind of thing where you got to push it, and you got to see and go right up against that line and just see how much you can get away with?
Yeah, we're pushing, and that's part of our training, is just figuring out where we can, how much and what that feels like to push that line and know that we're technically sound. And most of us at that level, we are technically sound, but judges are human, and different judges have their preference on what they like and what they consider good technique. So we might be fine in one country, but then another country's judges, like, they interpret the rules a little bit differently. So you're probably going to get cards because we are going super fast. I mean, we're going sub 7. The women are going sub 7:15 per mile pace. The men are going sub 7 minute pace, about 6:50. So we are going fast. So, it's almost like you've aced it if you can walk. The 2 cards is almost like a badge of, it's not a badge of honor, but it's like you're pushing yourself. Because if you're not getting any cards, maybe, it's almost like, well, are you pushing yourself enough?
Yeah, you're bumping up against that edge all of the time. And if you're not, well, you're not really trying.
That's something I'm trying to figure out for myself, because I crossed the finish line with so much energy still left in the tank, because I'm still trying to figure out what it feels like to push that edge with the energy that I have. Can
you spot a good race walker in public? Like, if you see somebody walking to try and catch a bus.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, that's how a lot of us race walkers who ended up in the sport got, headhunted, as, a coach saw us or someone saw us and thought, oh, you would make a great race walker. I see it all the time when we're training out on, on the trails and the bike trails. Sometimes kids or other people will try to mimic it or try to, go along with us. And there are times where I'm like, wow, actually, that's really good.
You're doing pretty good there.
Yeah, like you're doing pretty well.
What would be your top speed? Like the fastest you can go?
We don't normally race anything faster than a mile. And once we hit the elite level, it's not often we're going to be doing anything less than the 3K, like 2 miles. But there is, like, once a year, there's the Melrose Games where we'll do a mile. And so that's the only thing I can judge off of.
Yeah.
The fastest that a male has gone is a 5:31, and the fastest a woman has gone is 6:18.
That's like 10 or 11 miles an hour. And if I go to the gym and try to like walk at 3 miles an hour, I feel like I'm moving.
Oh yeah, we can go pretty quick. I mean, so what's interesting for a lot of like when so our body are using all of the muscles. We're engaging all of the muscles that a sprinter, a middle distance runner, and a distance runner are utilizing, but all at the same time. And then our turnover is as quick as between a 400 and an 800 meter runner. So actually, a lot of sprinters race walk really well. A lot of sprinters like take to it quickly.
Oh, just because of the turnover ratio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you generally walk fast everywhere you go?
I'm told I do. I never really noticed, but I'm short, so my dad always seemed super tall to me because he's 6'1", and so when we would go camping and hiking, we do a lot of camping and hiking growing up. I was always constantly trying to keep up with him because I talk a lot and I'm trying to, tell him my story and I couldn't keep up with him. So my best friend, Ashley, she always just she'll laugh about it because she's shorter than me. And people are always like, why do you walk so fast? And she's like, well, my best friend is a professional race walker, and I'd always have to try to keep up with her in the hallways in high school. So I think the key is, like, if you're around someone taller than you, I think you're just going to naturally be a faster walker everywhere because you're just trying to keep up with the taller walkers. So I'm told I walk pretty fast. I know I get really annoyed when I'm in the shopping, the grocery store and oh, yeah, I can't. It's a big pet peeve.
Oh, that would be so awful if you were walking in a crowd.
I can't stand crowds if they can't walk fast. I don't like the idly, especially the packs that walk in like groups of 5 or 3.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're all on their phones and they're just walking super slow. And it's like, can you walk single file or learn how to walk faster?